She's got quite a story. She has a book out called From Hell to Inspired. Her website is inspiredbyhilde.com. It's spelled Hilde Larsen, but it's Hilde, and she is in Norway. So you have quite a story. What was it, Hilde? 9 years ago, you were just diagnosed with like all kinds of stuff. What did they tell you? You went to the doctor. What did they tell you had going on?
Well, I was diagnosed with severe rheumatoid arthritis, and therefore put on some pretty cruel medications, to keep my joints in check, what they, told me, in and out of hospitals. And then I was diagnosed with Lyme's, which I later found, those medications are not very friendly when you have Lyme's in the body also. So what I was experiencing was that my joints were in check. They were kept in check with all that medication, but my body was just falling apart on the inside. I was getting anxious. I was getting depressed. My heart was not beating right. So I got in and out of hospitals for all sorts of ailments while on the medication.
And when you began to start feeling badly, was this a gradual kind of progression, Hilde, of the way you felt?
Yeah. Do you know what? I think anyone you talk to who's diagnosed as a chronic case, there will always be a long history of going downhill. The spiral is just sometimes you can even go back to childhood, and they will tell you, oh yeah, I had ulcers in 15 years, and I've had migraines my whole life, or I have allergies. So definitely it was a long process, and I was not listening. I was just like we do. We just keep on going with what we have, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
until we want to change, yeah. So this was just a long progression, and finally you found your way into the medical world and in and out of hospitals, and so you were on a lot of medications too.
I was.
Yeah, like
a lot of medications.
What kind of stuff?
Well, like Enbrel, it's like the immune depressants, and the prednisone, the cortisol.
Wow.
Methotrexate, the chemo drug. Yeah, they hit you really hard to try to suppress the symptoms.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was doing, trying to suppress the symptoms, and I was trying to ignore what the body was telling me.
Right. Of course, at the time you had no idea, right? You go to the docs, and
I had no idea.
You
right?
just take, just take it. Yeah, take it.
And I thought I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do,
Sure.
and I tried for a long time, and I was in and out of hospital with symptoms that obviously came from the medication. You have this round, go around and catch 22, and I just finally, hit rock bottom. I just finally was so sick and tired of feeling like crap that I just couldn't do it anymore. I just sat down on the sofa. I just stopped all of my medications in one day, and I just told my husband that I am just going to lay here until one out of two things happen. Either I get healthy or I die, and I don't care which.
Wow. What'd your husband say?
He said, okay. Yeah, he said, okay. He was always on board, and, God bless his soul.
Yeah.
He's always been on board with this. He knew that this was serious, and he knew that I meant business. And he had seen me suffer for a long time, and he was, helpless as well. He didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, because how long was the health, the doctor, hospital, medicine experience, Hilde, going on?
Well, that was not that long, actually, looking back, but about close to 4 years, I would say. But it was pretty intense.
About 4 years?
Yeah.
That's a long time, yeah, to feel.
Yeah, it felt like a long time.
And you just got progressively worse.
Well, the thing was that my joints were actually pretty fine. So that, once you take away the immune response, then, the body can't show you that. But I was falling apart on the inside. I was just showing so many symptoms of malfunction that I couldn't even, almost leave my house because I was so anxious or nauseous or fatigued, or, you know what I'm saying? It was like a whole different, like a whole myriad of symptoms that I knew was not good. It's like something in me. I had this dream that all of my, because Enbrel, there's syringes, you put shots in your stomach or in your thigh or whatever. So you do it yourself and you administer that from home. And I had this dream, and I woke up all sweaty where this huge barrel of all the syringes I ever took, just blew up. It's like I woke up and it was just like, this is it.
Oh.
This is it. I'm done.
Isn't that great? Good for you.
Yeah, I was done.
You were done.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like even a conscious, rational thought process that you contemplated on for a long time. You, after the dream, and you just quit. Yes, I'm done.
I just quit. I was done. I just knew that this was going to kill me. I mean, I had to give it a, I treasured life. I always treasured life, always tried to do my best. And I just thought that this is not it. I was born healthy. It's natural to be healthy, and I can be healthy again. I was so sure of that. I just had no idea where to start and what to do. I just knew that I had to do something else other than what I was doing.
But you came to this conclusion before you were even into or knew about really natural things, natural health.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? You just knew.
And even the couple of first years, this was in 2007, which I stopped everything. And the first year or year and a half, I went to my medical doctor and made him prescribe me stuff that I had read that could kill parasites. I was kind of, it was not about the medical or the not medical. I just knew that I had to find the cause of what was doing this to me and use whatever tool that I could. So the all natural, your body can heal yourself as long as you get out of the way and, carry out the lymphatic system, blah, blah. Everything that I know now has just been gradually shown to me. I just went all into myself and I just sat there and I was just like, show me the way, show me the way.
Yeah.
Thank you for this healing. Show me the way. Show me the way. That was all that I was, telling myself.
Oh, that's great. What a wonderful expression. Well, show me the way.
Show me the way.
Wow. And you just sat on the sofa.
Yeah, I did. I was done. I was not showing up for class next day. I was back in school actually. I was studying journalism, and I'm originally an interior architect. I was this, workaholic, you know how it is, strong people, they just keep on going until they hit the wall, and that was me back then. So I just sat there and I thought, okay, I'm just going to channel all this energy the other way. I'm not going to stop until I get this, until I understand
Until
this.
you figure out what's going on. Yeah. And so what were those first hours and days and weeks, and how long were you on the couch were like? I mean, what kind of...
Yeah.
I mean, how did you deal with what was the truth and what was good information and just your mind just making you crazy?
Well, the thing is, Patrick, that when you stop what is suppressing your symptoms, your body will show you how sick you really are. So,
right. Yeah.
So it's like the train is hitting you from behind when you stop. So I was really getting sick. My joints, I laid for 2 years in bed. I could not even open my jaw because my jaw was so inflamed. I could not make a fist. I could not bend my arms. I could not bend my knees. I could not walk on my feet. I had to be carried to the bathroom. It was just like I was on fire.
Wow.
That is what was showing me that all these medications were suppressing symptoms, but I had been getting sicker and sicker all along. How interesting is that?
Yeah. So your immune, we're just theorizing here, I'm just listening, that your immune system was just going bonkers. And when you got off those drugs that were helping the symptoms of the overactive immune system, then you really felt badly.
Well, I would like to put it this way. My immune system was not at all overactive.
Oh, it wasn't.
It was just doing what it was supposed to do.
Oh,
it was just trying to get rid of what was not,
Right.
And then once you suppress that, then the body cannot do its job, and you're just pushing it into your body. You're just suppressing it into the cells.
Oh, so the assumption that I made,
inside.
yes. Oh, so the assumption I made is incorrect. It was not overactive. It was just trying to do good. It was just trying to do what it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The body is always trying to. Autoimmune. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
Like your body is attacking itself. I don't buy it.
I agree.
Not at all. Your body is always on your side. Always. If you don't think it's on your side, you're getting too mental. That's my view.
There you go. Good for you,
Yeah.
girl. Yeah, I agree. This whole idea, and we still get natural docs that come on all the time, and I never I never question them about it because they're the guest, but they'll say that it's attacking the nerves and the myelin sheath or the joints, but I don't know. It never made sense to me.
How could it do that?
I don't know.
God.
Yeah,
are we questioning creation?
Yeah.
Creation is perfect.
Yeah, why would it
do that? What
it's
doing is trying to save your life. That's what it's doing. We just need to get out of our way. That's what I learned more and more. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of your mind. Get out of your mind. Allow the body to heal.
Yes.
So thank God when I was laying there, thank God that I had the internet, because Curezone became my lifeline, because you just lay there and, people, they don't do illness very well. So when you kind of lay there, they stop coming. It's a lonely world.
They stop coming. So you got inspired by his whole story with the Gulf, all the parasites and all that stuff.
Oh, and you won't believe what came out of me. So that was my starting point. I started with the liver flushes and the parasites, and I think I did close to 50 liver flushes. I was just on it every 10th day. That's how I was almost dying, I think, from the symptoms, because I was hitting it so hard with detox. But that's how sick I was. And a lot of people are that sick. It's just you don't see it until you try to get rid of everything that the body's holding on to.
Mm-hmm. So looking back for folks around the world, and we've got a lot of them that have got about 12 different things going on, and they're having a hard time getting their arms around it, kind of like you.
Yeah.
And I've often said to them, I want you to stop taking everything and just figure out, I just do that offhand, and of course they never listen to me. But do you think it would? you think it would be even viable for someone sick that were taking a lot of quote unnatural things? You know what I mean? Quote natural, unquote.
Yeah, I know.
Just to quit everything and get on the couch and see what's going on.
Right, that's isolates, and we need to move away from that, because the body doesn't recognize and isolate. The body recognizes a whole.
Yes.
We figured that out. We created isolates. It's not natural at all. So I meet clients, and I say to people all the time, just show me what you're taking, and it's all natural. It doesn't mean that the body likes it. So I was the same thing. Stop everything. Just stop for a minute, and think. We are primates. We are literally primates. We are fruitarians. We are raw food eaters. We are as naturally a part of nature as any other creature here. That's the way I see it. And the closer that I got to that, because that was a process, but I was never jumping in because of a book or anything. I was just led, step by step, feeling my body. Now I live on fruits only and wild herbs. Well, 99% of the time, and that's it.
Wow!
And
wow! Really?
Yeah. Wow. I've been 100% raw for the last 8 years.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And you're doing mostly your fruits?
I'm doing mostly fruits.
Oh, wow.
Fruit.
It's amazing.
The simple sugars, the simple food, pick and eat, sweet, ripe. Like I see it as primates, not only for the taste, and we have the hands to pick it, but when you look at our body, when you look at our teeth and our digestive system and our enzymes, we're primates. We just strayed away from nature, of course, together with EMF and everything else that's going on, that's hitting our cells, and creating all those free radicals.
So you spent 2 years on the couch in bed.
Yes, sir.
Were you taking anything then, or just a little food? What were you doing, Hilde?
Well, I was experimenting, with everything that I read. So I started to get introduced to some juicing, and of course the parasite cleansing and some liver flushes, and transitioning away from the main typical things like dairy and meat. As I read, people had healed on different kind of protocols, but still, it was just like there was a lot of protocols out there, right?
Oh, man,
and there's a lot of kind of systems, and you're following this or you're following that, the Budwick or the whatever.
Gerson, whatever, whatever.
Yeah, the Gerson, I was following the pH Miracle for a while, and you're starting into that, and actually I did that for several years. But it was like for me, I just knew inside that I didn't really need any of that. That I think also that listening to Louis Hayes, was
Yeah.
I started with my awakening or my mental or my emotional or my spiritual journey, I think, before I even got to figure out the physical.
Yes.
It's like I was changing the way I was thinking. I knew that, my mind was powerful. I knew my emotions were powerful. And that just kept me going from one of those things to another. It's like it didn't stick right because it was still a lot of, things to buy, or it was,
It's things to do, and you got to do it at
substances,
this
or
time and all
yes,
that. Yeah.
yeah, restrictions for this and that. And there was people meaning one thing, and then what should you do? Should you have salt? No salt. Should you
All
have
right.
alkaline water? Should you have distilled? I mean, I went through all of that, and it was a good thing because I spent years in bed and not even and even after studying. I just studied and studied and studied. Um, I even graduated from IIN as a certified coach while I was still, not up and running. So I I think like my turning point was the day that I realized that I had to look nowhere else than to creation. That everything else I was looking around for was a good education because now I know the different things. I've tried it. You ask me, what have you done this? Yes. Have you tried a sapper? Yes. I own a rife machine. Yes, I do that. I even own an oxygen tank, those portable
Sure. Sure.
hyperbaric. I mean, I have everything. I was like equipment freak because I thought that something that I could take from without myself would help me or would help my body heal. But simplicity, Patrick, simplicity, when I got to the point where I started to understand, well, what is the body really doing here?
Hmm.
It's okay, there's a lot of blood and then there's a lot of lymph. And all I have to do really is to get everything out that's not supposed to be there, or I have to let everything go that's not serving me.
Yeah.
That was the thought that I had,
Yeah.
this whole time that I was holding on to so much toxins that I needed to figure out how my body would naturally get rid of that. And by then I thought my body would just build health. So my focus was always the health. I was never going after, the sickness part or the symptom part.
Trying to
I always
fix a
thought, okay,
certain, you weren't going off
no,
and after trying to fix a certain thing
right.
with a certain nutrient, but
I know
yeah,
because and that's the whole pivot. Like you said, okay, people have this ailment, they have this, they have so much going on. But really, it doesn't matter what you have going on because it's all the same
it's
thing.
all the
No,
same
it
thing.
doesn't matter. And you cannot lose weight on one thigh, or on one arm. The body is holistic. It's one system. So once the body heals, it will heal everything. It doesn't matter if it's your lungs or if it's a bad knee or if you have arthritis or diabetes. It doesn't really matter. I mean, there's a little, there's differences in weakness in different
Sure,
organs
sure, sure,
and
sure.
things.
Yeah.
But overall, it doesn't matter because all you need is health. Because when you have health, you cannot have any sickness, right?
Well, I really resonate to what you're saying. I think more and more, I've certainly come to that conclusion over the past 3 or 4 years. Just slowly, 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 and I think more and more people are, because the body knows what it wants to do, doesn't it? It just
It does. And we're
knows.
just, I mean, the more mental, I even say every thought is an obstruction.
I believe it.
Because the more you think, the more you're going to just wheel yourself into this big ball of unwheeling and entangle yourself in theories and get away from the God source or, the true connection to what we really are. So it has made me like a God woman in a whole different place,
I
in a whole
understand.
different way. I
I
mean,
can I can
yeah,
hear
it
it. No,
is.
I got
Yeah.
boy, and God love you for going through that because that's to have the courage and the intestinal fortitude, so to speak, and the focus to let go of the without. No, I'm going to take this. I'm going to do this, and that's going to fix me, right?
Yeah.
And really look deep in. and look for who you really are as soul and God. I mean, that's where the action is, right? I mean,
it's all about taking responsibility, like a 100% responsibility for yourself.
What do you mean when you say that for
the,
folks to understand that? What does that mean?
yeah,
How does that?
I mean that your health is your business. Your life is your business. Everything you create and see around you when you walk through your day is your business. It reflects back to you. And when I say 100% responsibility, I say you are responsible for your feelings. You're responsible for what you eat. You're responsible for how you feel. And you are a co-creator.
Yeah.
So there is no fingers to point at anyone else. There is no one to go to help fix you. You are the responsible authority in your life. And I think we are so conditioned in the society to go to other authorities, not even self-appointed, but mass-appointed, by the society itself and by the programming that we've had from living in this, at least the Western world that I know of, that we feel helpless when something happens to us. We need to go to someone, and we're looking for this, quick fix and this pill. People come to me and say, well, I've tried juicing and I did it for 10 days and I still have pain. And I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Well, well,
Yeah, right. All right. 10 days. That's good. That's a good start.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right. So,
Yeah.
But this is the way that people are conditioned.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, this is not working for me. I mean, this is not about something working for you. This is about your body being able to heal or not, So
yeah, and in this this culture of that we're constantly trying to be programmed. Of course, we are the programmee, so it's our responsibility, right? Something's going to happen quickly, and you're going to do this, and you do this diet, and you lose all the weight you want in 30 days, and all this stuff that's out there, and
I know, and that's what we've
taken lifetimes to get to where we are, right? Mm-hmm. So how could it be that in 10 days, and it's just going to,
Well, you're not even going to scratch the surface, to be honest. I mean, if you're not 5 years old and pretty clean. But the thing is, this is about your life. This is about the lifestyle. You cannot use raw food or juicing as another pill or another Band-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You're still in that mindset. So I think that's why I say the first thing is taking the responsibility, like the one you said. I mean, health is simple, change is hard, because that's where the core is to this. This is about seeing that you are responsible and that you need to do what it takes to feel the way that you want to feel. It is a choice. Health is a choice. And that's empowerment. For some, it is not, but that's when you need to get out of that. Because I can tell people, and I remember I said something that was in the Norwegian newspapers, and they got crazy because I had said that chronic illness is an illusion. Chronic is an illusion. And I did not mean that all the people diagnosed with chronic did not have what they experienced, what they were experiencing. I was just saying that chronic, meaning you will always have it or it will be consistent, is an illusion because it does not have to be. So
what I think that you have experienced and are demonstrating and discovered is, in my opinion, which means nothing around here, is truly the only way, or the way. I don't know if it's the only way, but it's the way to heal on all levels, because you were definitely working with the spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, all at the same time during those 2 years, right? I mean, it was a whole package for you. I mean, I hear that in your voice and the way you're saying it. It was a whole
and you
deal.
cannot separate it.
No.
You cannot separate it. Once you start letting go of what is hurting you, you cannot separate it. I mean, you cannot clean your body and not detox emotionally at the same time.
It can't happen.
Every cell has a memory. Once you get rid of old cells or cells that are damaged or mutated, they will also have memory. You will feel it on one level or another. And that's the beauty of this. So to me, it's like it doesn't really matter what end you start. You'll have an awakening.
So do you think that the people that you talk to, that the biggest challenge is most souls are just afraid to see what's really there?
Well, that is one part of it. But I think there's a big hold on people on the social conditioning when it comes to food, especially because we use it as a social thing, and it's like belonging and being in the tribe and in the group and being different or taking that responsibility just for yourself and standing kind of outside the crowd is very tough. We're not used to doing that. We're used to being told, like, get back in line, get back in line, you know? And
you got to eat this or you got to eat that. You got to eat that. No, you got to eat
right,
that.
you're going to a family gathering or you're sitting down at Christmas and you have a smoothie at the end of the table when you've eaten your typical thing for the last 40 years. It's hard. Change is hard. It's very hard. And that's where it comes to play if you're taking responsibility for yourself, because all of that has to do with everyone else, what they think, what they do, how you think they're going to think about you. This whole, and I experienced that for several years. I mean, I was always the one sitting at the end of the table with my green smoothie. And I mean, people looked at me like I was a freak.
Hilde,
but I just had to,
yeah. And it goes on now with the very well-meaning people, and we hear it. I hear it all the time that, we'll get folks on the show that say, on both sides, that you've absolutely got to do absolutely raw vegan, or it's not going to work for you. You got to do that. Or you got to have animal foods because vegetarians will get sick and blah, blah, blah. And I don't think it's one or the other. I think that each soul is going to have to figure out what is going to get them to where they want to be. And it could be different. It could be a mix. It could be different.
Whatever you feel that you need to do, God bless your soul. It's like you said, but everything is cause and effect. Everything is cause and effect, and everything you do. And once you understand that and can really feel into that, then you will know.
Yeah, and you'll feel
it. I know people that,
If you eat something, whether or not it's working.
I can remember I was smoking like a chimney.
Wait.
Yeah, I was. And I remember we had those commercials on TV, which were showing sick people and lungs that were, cancerous or whatever. And I just didn't want to see it. And we didn't want to see it. And it's not that we didn't know that it was hurting us. It was just that we were playing on our ignorance and, just suppressing the awareness of that. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They know very well every time they put something in their mouth, because they feel it. You look at people, excuse me, but there's a lot of overweight people out there, and there's a lot of people that have what they even know is a lifestyle condition or a lifestyle illness, and still it is so hard. We're so full of parasites and fungus that's literally what we're feeding. We're not clean. So to get connected with yourself and your intuition is almost impossible. That's the sad part, because you can feel that it's not good for you, but you are overridden with the signals from something else, something other than you, that's going to keep you into this craving. It's like, well, I can't do this because I'm craving this and I'm craving that. This is not so easy for me. And I'm like, well, I don't know, but it was never about easy.
Hilde, can you give examples what your meals were and how much in the sitting you were having when you were really sick, recovering, and what they are now? Is she still on mostly fruit? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I could just do really quick for the whole thing. I used to live on cheese doodles and Diet Coke, cigarettes, milk, cheese, and pizza. The regular, that was kind of putting it, but you know what I mean. I was really on a regular sad diet. Plus, I was a little better than a lot of my friends, but still. Then, when I was healing, I was going more and more towards the plant kingdom. I left everything from the animal kingdom, but for many years, I was still cooking my food. I had a lot of soups when I was sick, and I did some juicing with that. And then I went to all the greens because I was conditioned to believe that fruits are bad for you and all sugars are bad and, all of that. So on many, like I think 3.5 years, I was on only greens with a lot of fat, oils and nuts and seeds and the typical type of raw cracker, avocado, green diet. And then I was led to lighten up, and that was hard to go to the fruit. It was hard because I was so convinced it was going to hurt me. But still, something told me, it's natural. I mean, there is not going to be a forest full of wild berries and strawberries, and you have these oranges, and they're luscious, and God created this, and it's bad for me. It's just like, it didn't make sense. It just did not make sense. So that's where the real change happened for me. I mean, and what I see is when I kind of went to the lightest, most healing food. And what I found is, it's not that the food itself is so healing, it's that it's so light on the body that the body will have more energy and not be disturbed by what's taking energy to actually heal. It's like it's complex, this is a whole different show. So that's that. And then, yes, I am now mostly fruits on last 4 years, I think. And if I'll do that the rest of my life, I have no idea.
Who knows? It could change, right? You could wake up one day.
It could change. It's working right now, and I love it. And, I wouldn't do anything else right now, but I would never put myself into any category or anything. I don't call myself anything. I just say, this is what I've found, and I see it working for, people that I help. So
when you go back to the time when you were, how many meds were you on when you just quit everything?
At that time, I was on a lot of painkillers, obviously, and Somadril, we call it. It's like a relaxant type of drug. I was on Enbrel, I was on methotrexate, and I was on something called Furex that was for edema, a diuretic, and I was on prednisone.
Wow.
They even gave me prednisone or cortisol intravenously, IV. Wow. It was crazy. Yeah.
Boy, getting off all that must have been a real hell. And that's the name of your book. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was really. That's why I say from hell to inspire, because the book, I mean, it's a lot of things. I mean, I went through the dark night of the soul.
Sure.
There is a lot of things. And I've been doing ayahuasca, and, this is a complex thing. I mean, living with nature and taking that responsibility will just blow you right open.